yourself all these days. We have 2 hours. We are not in a rush. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good.
Good.
Yes, no problem.
All right. Okay.
I
So
will
Brian,
try as much as possible.
Yeah.
good. Somebody out there
We're live. We're live.
who would be? We're live already.
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
So let me send the link. Yeah.
Our viewers watching from Mali, from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Uganda, from China, Italy. Yesterday, people from Dubai and from the America where Brian is. You're all welcome to our show, Topoh Spaces. We have with us the strong man Nuhu Ibrahim, Barrister Nuhu Ibrahim is in the house. He'll be chatting with us. Barrister, you're welcome to the show.
Isaac, I sent to you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac. Thank you for having me.
Good.
I sent on WhatsApp.
So Barrister, at this junction, I will send you the link. Right?
Yeah, I sent on WhatsApp.
No,
my send it on my WhatsApp.
Okay, let me send on Facebook, Isaac. I did.
Yeah, send on Facebook. Good.
So Barrister, Isaac will send it to you. Let me share it to you.
Isaac, you may as well send it through my WhatsApp.
Yeah, my WhatsApp has issues.
Okay.
Yes. So this new number, right? So Barrister, this is in Topoh's Places. We basically chat. It's not an interview. I've sent it to you. We're basically here to chat and understand you, and so people learn about your experiences.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can copy that and paste it on your Facebook, and send to your friends who would like to also follow. They can just click there and come in. We pride ourselves here of putting out quality conversations, quality information through the fireside chat. Anybody who has been following us understands that what we try here, we try to recapture, ancient African settings, pre-colonial African time, when in the evenings, the people just sit down by the fireside outside after eating food by the moonlight and just tell stories to young people. People just share ideas. So this is what we are doing here. That's why it's called a fireside chat. So when you're ready, Mr. Ibrahim, you let us know after sharing with your friends.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, Brian.
Yep.
So this is Nuhu Ibrahim. To all our listeners following, Nuhu Ibrahim has been in the news recently. He's a convener of the new Nigerian Bar Association. But before we come to that, we'd like to know who Nuhu Ibrahim is. Nuhu Ibrahim, please cast your mind back to when you were 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, the primary, the university, and to get to who you are today. Please tell us about your journey in life.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Isaac, and thank you. Good evening over here. I don't know the time over here, but let me just say good day to all.
It's afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Isaac, thank you. The little background about myself is that I was born and brought up here in Kaduna State. I'm from Lere local government area of Kaduna State. And then I went to a nomadic primary school in Jama'a local government of Kaduna State. A nomadic primary school is virtually a school for Fulani nomads. And then in a village known as Atukukasa, that is in Jama'a local government, I was part of the pioneer set then in the early 90s. Then from there, I was able to navigate through and went through secondary education and completed it at GSS level. I went through 3 GSS, government secondary schools, The first was in Gwambadatia, where I went my primary school, from JSS1 to JSS3. That is my junior secondary school. Then I moved then to GSS Mancho in government, where I spent my SS1 and 2, and then finally I moved to the local to GSS Dere, where I completed my secondary education. Then from there, in 2002, I went back to Kapanchan, as government, sorry, College of Education Kapanchan, Kaduna State College of Education Kapanchan, for an IGND program, which I successfully completed in 2 years before I gained admission into Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, where I um, graduated and then eventually went to the Nigerian Law School and got eventually called to the Nigerian Bar in 2010. Since then, after my service year, which I spent in Taraba State, I came back to Kaduna State to continue with my practice as a private legal practitioner. Up to this moment, I am the head of chamber of a law firm here in Kaduna, known as the Precious Kobe and Associates. So this is the little background I will give you. But from this, you can see that you can be able to deduce that I'm a Fulani man, typical Fulani man, because when I was in primary school and secondary school, I used to go to school and come back on weekends. I will go and rear cattle. And, even if sometimes in school days, in the morning I will follow cattle. When that is when I'm going for afternoon classes. Then in the afternoon I will eventually come back around let's say 11. Then I will prepare for my school. I will make sure that by 12 o'clock I'm in school. So the whole history of myself is the history of someone who grew up in the village and eventually, caught up with, with the cities. So that is I think the little I can tell you. And since then, I have been into a lot of community related services where I have had cost to execute one or the other project for one or the other non-governmental organizations. But my main trade at the moment is full-time legal practice, which includes litigations in court, going to court for litigation, and then doing what we call solicitorship. There's things working on preparation of documents and how they are being executed, and then advising clients the type of documents, agreements, and whatnot. And the other part involves what we call corporate practice, which has to do with company activities or registration, register companies, law firm, and then we also do what we call post integration assignments. So basically, there is just a little background about my family stuff.
Interesting. Just our last edition too, Brian. You remember we had Modibo.
Yeah.
Modibo is also a Fulani man.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And you know what Modibo said? Modibo says that one of the features of a Fulani man, you will see his nose.
That they can hide.
Pointed nose, and you can see you can see that.
So now you can see from my nose.
Yes, so we can see from your nose. So Nuhu, I'd like you to adjust your lens, your laptop a bit so that your cap can show very well. You know me, I love this caps very
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
So thank you, Mr.
Yes, I love this caps very much. So so Mr. Nuhu, let's just quickly jump into the main issues.
Yeah, I have a question.
Pardon, Brian?
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question?
Yeah. You know, in the various pursuits that we do in life, we get to have relationships with those things in ways that are different from other people's relationships with those things. For example, me with computers, the way I see a computer is different from the way Isaac sees it. It's different from the way brother Ibrahim sees it. So so the same with the law. So the way I look at the law is probably different from the way you see, look at it, experience it. So can you please tell us how what the law is to you, how you see it, and in this whole wide universe, what law does to you and how you feel about it?
Yes, thank you very much. In generally in social science courses, it's always difficult to define a concept.
Yeah.
Uh, so also is in the when it comes to definition of terminologies in law,
Yeah.
it's always difficult to give any definitive or any single a definition which can be generally acceptable.
Yes, yes.
However,
Mhm.
However, the concept law has severally been defined by several scholars over the years, and there is so much jurisprudence as to what law means and what are the elements, what constitutes law.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Personally, as a lawyer,
Mm.
I can only enumerate probably the definitions that have been given and then also maybe state in my own opinion which of the definitions I maybe feel is more acceptable to me.
Okay.
But I don't think it is within me to provide any theory right now because law as a profession is a conservative profession,
Okay.
which to a large extent people that come after will have to toe the lines of people that came earlier.
Okay.
But the concept law is really a concept that is very tricky to define. But just like I said earlier, different scholars and different juries have made their attempts to defining what the law is.
Yeah.
One of such attempts is what we call the realist school of law, which many scholars call the American school of thought. Yes, to them, they see law as just merely what the judge says. Because to them, law is what the judge or what the court says.
Okay.
So if, as far as they are concerned, they have a very restrictive view of law in the sense that if there are laws that are made by the legislature which are not interpreted by the court or which have not been enforced by the courts, then definitely to them that is not law. They are just some form of written document, but they don't see them as law.
Okay.
But um, once the court says something, whether or not it confirms or it enforces a legislation, to them that is what the law is.
Mhm.
Then we have another scholars that we call the historical or school of thought, which we call the historical school of thought,
Mhm.
which uh, refers to look at the law from the concept of history, the
Okay.
history of the society. To
Mhm.
them, law is nothing uh, but that which can be traced from the history and the practices of a particular society.
Yeah.
So once a particular law has no or fails to
Mhm.
have any relationship with the history of a community or with the history of a particular people, then to them that is not law. Then we
Mhm.
have what we call the sociological school of thought.
Uh-huh.
Is a school of thought which looks at the concept of law from the point of view of human interaction. So to them, once the law
Yeah.
does not seek to promote harmony in the society, does not seek to promote peaceful coexistence in the society, to them that is not law. So, but
Mashallah.
as long as a particular thing seeks to promote peaceful coexistence in the society and it seeks to promote socialization and whatnot, then to them there is law. Similarly, we have the Marxist school of thought. There is if you want to come to what can be termed as the doubting Thomasist, yes, Karl Marx,
Uh-huh.
he's a German scholar who
Yeah.
used to be a very radical one for that matter. All his theories, that they always go against the normal theories that we know. Just
Yeah.
look at things positively. To him, he sees law as nothing but what we call opium of the masses. That,
Okay.
which what he calls the bourgeoisie, the higher class, uses to suppress, victimize, and oppress the common man.
Okay.
So to them, law is nothing but an instrument in the hands of the ruling class,
Yeah.
which they use to govern the society, to promote their own selfish interests, and to suppress any dissenting voice in the society.
Wow.
And so to them,
Mm-hmm.
generally, you see that they are looking at law from the negative point of view. They don't see anything good about the law.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this definition, to a large extent, you can see how restrictive it is. Then we have the positivist school of thought. We
Mm-hmm.
call it positivist. I think by an English scholar, Austin and others,
Mm-hmm.
they look at law from the point of view of sovereignty.
Okay.
Yes, to
Wow.
them,
Mm-hmm.
they classify the society into two. You have the sovereign, which has to do with the ruling class, and then the lower class, that is the people who are subject to command.
Wow.
So to them,
Mm-hmm.
law is nothing but the commands of the sovereign, backed by sanction. So in every command we have the authority from where the command is flowing,
Yeah.
and then the authority to whom the command is directed. So you can see that they had in mind the ruling class and the followership.
Yeah.
But the third major element in this definition is the issue of sanction. So to them, that every command must have that element of sanction. If it is obeyed, then there should be what we call positive sanction. If it is disobeyed,
Mm.
uh, there should be what they call negative sanction. Positive sanction is in the form of rewards. Maybe if you perform very well, you are going to be given a recognition by way of rewards or the normal awards that we see in different ceremonies.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the negative sanction, to them it simply refers to punishment. So that when the sovereign gives an order or a command, yes, the order also for command can simply mean order. So if you or the follower should refuse to follow the command of the sovereign, then the sovereign should be able to impose some form of punishment in order
Yeah.
to ensure that this order is obeyed.
Uh-huh.
So to a large extent, there are several other theories of state of law. This few ones is related. We can go we can go on and on.
Yeah.
So we are not here to.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Thanks. Actually, I was just interested because, like I said, since you are close to it, I just wanted to seize the opportunity to know a little bit about it, right, Isaac? Instead, like, just imagine him coming here and just telling us what's going on without us really enjoying the law the way he enjoys it. So just
Yeah,
see like how all that narration. Just imagine having all of that information in your head and trying to think
yeah.
about it. It's
Very,
amazing.
very
Thanks.
educative.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks.
Thank you. But
Thank
I
you.
just noticed, Brian, I'm not sure his audio is fluctuating, right?
Yes. Yes. It could be the
My own
internet
audio
too.
is fluctuating.
Yeah, but
Yes.
when you talk a little bit loud now, we can hear you very clearly now.
Yeah. True. I
Okay, so
think it
let me
was
see.
far
I'm not
away.
used to speaking loudly, but let me try my best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, without wasting time, sir, I will just ask you because we've had a lawyer here, I mean,
Yes.
that is Barrister Hawa of the Unity, the chairman of the
The Unity
Abuja.
Bar. I know Hawa Shekarau.
Yes, Hawa Shekara. Yes, your sister from Kaduna.
Yes.
So she was here, and we talked about the issues in the law and the MBA issues and all of that. I mean, you have been in the news. You have been in the news now all over for being one of the people that created the new Nigerian Bar Association.
Yes.
We'd like to know what led to this creation of this organization, because you already have a organization. Why create another new organization? Forum for Lawyers.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac. The new Nigeria, the idea behind the creation of the new Nigerian Bar center on several factors. But as a lawyer, I know that the MBA as an association has not demonstrated its ability to cater for the needs of the teeming population of lawyers in the country. As we speak today, the number of lawyers in Nigeria are estimated to be around 200,000. 200,000 membership one association. Witness a standard association charter for the
Your network is breaking. Your audio is breaking again.
Okay. Yes. I said, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can.
I said, for a membership, for an association to cater for a membership that is ranging between 200, and some numbers to about 200,000 persons. Know that it's really difficult. It is really a daunting task.
Yeah.
And over the years, we have seen how the NBA has been overwhelmed by several issues that it has not been able to handle properly. Just like I said, so many factors have informed. So many factors have informed our ideas of creating the new Nigerian Bar. The number one is the one I have already stated: the NBA's inability to cater for the needs of its teaming members. And over the years, this process, this problem has led to several, protests and several discontents from all quarters. All, in fact, the whole strata of legal profession, the whole strata, ranging from the senior advocates to the newly called to the Nigerian Bar members. Then definitely there are so many discontents. People are not don't see the NBA working for them. Don't see the NBA catching for their needs. And so to that extent, there has been a very echelon um, concern and attempts by several lawyers to see that there should be an alternative platform where a lawyer, after joining the legal profession, which we call the bar in Nigeria, should be able to have a choice between which association he thinks will serve his interest best and which he thinks will not serve his interest best. So the idea behind creating the new Nigerian Bar Association is to have an alternative platform that will give lawyers that variety, so that one will just not be dissatisfied in a particular platform and continue dying with the problem until he finishes his career as a lawyer. That would be very unjust. That would be very unfair, and that would definitely jeopardize. In fact, it has jeopardized the career of several lawyers who wanted to, to carry out as practicing lawyers. So over the years, you see that the problems at hand are not being resolved, while others keep coming. And then you know that for an association that has lived for 60 years, then definitely there must be people who have turned it as their own personal, thing, who have hijacked it appears that it is working only for them. It's not working for any other person. And that is why whenever you raise your voice that you want an alternative platform to student existing, even against a clear constitutional provision that has given every citizen, every Nigerian, and every lawyer or non-lawyer the right and the freedom to choose to remain in an association or to opt out. Section 40 of the Constitution clearly and very clearly for that matter provided for every citizen the right to freedom of association. And then it did not stop there. It went on to say that an association that will protect his own interest. So if over the years you have remained in an association for 10 or 20 years, and that association is not serving your interest, but somebody is still constricting you to remain in that association, and not only that, but he is also insisting that you cannot belong to another platform, then actually you can see how unfair that would be, and you can see how unjust. And I don't see any reason why any lawyer will say that uh, the, that nobody can have an alternative platform. We already have alternative platforms which represent certain interests, just like we have the class fund for the Christians, which is strictly protecting religious interests. We have Mulan for the Muslim lawyers, which protects their religious interests. Then um, we have like the Western Bar, they call it in Yoruba terminology, which I cannot say right now because I'm not Yoruba. I don't even know much about Yoruba apart from the treaty. Then we have even the Igbo lawyers who have their own form of an association. But in this case, we have realized that all those sectional associations do really represent sectional interest. So in the new NDA, we seek to have an alternative that will provide, or that will protect general interests of every lawyer in Nigeria who feels that the NDA is not working for him and who feels that the NDA has lost its track, of promoting the rule of law as as or being the main foundation upon which it was established. So over the years, the crisis in the
But Barrister, if I may interject there, Barrister,
yes,
a lot of people want to have believed in Nigeria that you came up with this organization. You people created this alternative association because the MBA disinvited the governor of your state, being
yes,
Malam El-Rufai. Is this not the reason why you created this organization?
yes. You see, that is one of the problems we have been grappling with since we came up with this idea. Since we make public announcement as to the creation of the new bar association, new new MBA, we have known right from day one that we are going to encounter a lot of this campaign of calumny, a lot of these, misrepresentations. We have seen attacks targeted on some of our personalities and targeted on the group. Some say it is a sectional thing. Some say it was even plotted or promoted by Erufai. Then some say it is a religious thing. Um, we knew all these problems would definitely pop up because somebody cannot live for 60 years, or you cannot marry a wife for 60 years, and then just suddenly you say that you will add an additional wife without a problem. So definitely, all this campaign of all these allegations, they are false, they are untrue, they are misrepresenting the facts, and I can assure you that this association has nothing to do with any personality. It has nothing to do with any politics, any political party. It has nothing to do with any religious interest. All we have decided to come and do is to come or to bring lawyers of light minds who have over the years also seen how the NBA is being run and how it is not working for for the legal profession. It's simply working for certain uh, interests of a clique. So that allegation has been one of those allegations that we have been debunking since we made announcement.
But don't you think that but don't you think that that thing is that allegation has some validity? Because I mean, it was almost at the same time, at the same period, at the same time when the governor was disinvited, and
Yes,
there were
Mr.
some
Isaac.
disaffections from other lawyers. Then all of a sudden, we heard that there was a new Bar Association of
Yes,
Nigeria.
Mr. Isaac. Mr. Isaac,
Mhm.
you know that whenever you decide to do a particular thing, it must coincide with another thing. You cannot say that in the whole world that you can do something that will coincide with nothing. Definitely, we have been working over this. We have been nurturing these ideas, and you can even agree with me that some of the people that have, that initiated these troubles in days past have since died, without achieving their aims. Um, but Mr. Isaac, I can assure you that this incident has actually maybe because what I want to use the word maybe because to us it didn't happen in one day. Um, it happened in, we made our declarations some days later when the NBA had invited the governor already. Um, and you know that to everything there might be one or more than one cause. So to this end, I will not say that Erufai's invitation is not one of those injustices that uh, we see as situations where the Nigerian Bar Association has failed itself and failed the legal profession and failed the whole country by not upholding the or by not upholding an elementary principle of natural justice. It is elementary for any even non-lawyers know that whenever there is an allegation against a person, definitely that person needs to be listened to, give his own side of the story before a decision is taken. So probably because everybody knows that the NDA was wrong in that decision, that is why people keep ascribing that as the reason why we established this association. But I can assure you that it has nothing to do with the implementation of RFI. The problems in NBA quite, prestige, or they are far more than the issue of implementation of RFI. So, Mr. Rufai, I can assure you that he does not know me. Myself, as the first convener, he does not know me, and I do not know everybody personally. I know him as the governor, I know him as a public figure. Otherwise, I have no relationship with everybody. And the new bar
That's
association
interesting.
has nothing
That
to do.
I mean,
Myself, as
this
the
is
first
good.
convener, he does not know me, and
Yeah, this is interesting, Brian.
Yeah.
You
yes,
know, a lot of people have been actually believed that why you people created this group or this new association for lawyers, was because of the disinvitation of the governor from participating in the national conference, your national conference. But I want to ask you now, as a lawyer, personally as a lawyer, how did you take the decision, you know, that brought about the disinvitation of your governor, the
yes.
governor of your state?
I just want to believe that any lawyer, including myself and including any other lawyer, and including even non-lawyers, everybody knows that when there is an allegation, especially when it concerns weighty allegations like the ones against the governor, some bordering on murder, murder, especially as it relates to the crisis in Kaduna, against the governor. So I think personally, and as an association, the new NBA believes that um, the decision to disinvite everybody was an uninformed decision. It was hasty, and we want to believe that probably it was premeditated. But if the same decision was to be meted against any person, whether maybe be him the former president of Olusegun Obasanjo or Mr. Wike, who was also invited to the same occasion, if he was to be meted with the same treatment, definitely we will kick against it because we know that that is contrary to natural justice, that is contrary to rule of law. But our position is not informed by any personal relationship with the governor or any personal interest.
So you're saying that you, because according to what one of your colleagues that was here, the chairman of the Unity branch in Abuja,
yes.
she said the decision was made because by a submission, by a petition written to the MBA, National Executive, that 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 the petition holds that that El-Rufai was one of the people, right, who is known for not respecting court orders.
Yes.
Right? And so and as such, they feel that okay, he is not supposed to come. Then he that disrespected court orders, and as such, he does not stand the moral grounds, to come and participate in your conference. And that also Obasanjo was also part of those people, right? And Wike too also has same allegation. But as of the time that that decision was taken, there was nobody that wrote a petition to the body
Yes.
state against these people. So are you now saying that you don't see anything wrong that Governor El-Rufai has broken the law, has disrespected court orders, even far back in 2006, that that at the time your association, I believe you participated in going for a 2-day strike, right? Because the government of that day were not respecting court orders. And in that decision, El-Rufai was known to have 3 of the cases that led to that decision. So are you saying that you don't see anything wrong as a lawyer?
You see, as a lawyer, you have to look at things dispassionately. When issues are brought, first of all, you look at the facts dispassionately, and then you apply the law. Now, the MBA parades itself as the champions of rule of law. And what does rule of law say when any allegation is leveled against an individual? What does the rule of law say? The rule of law comprises the principles of natural justice, issues of equality, and what's not. So, and then we have the principle of natural justice has two major components. We call them in Latin maxim, we say audia alteram partem, which has to do with hearing both parties. When an allegation is written or is levied against somebody, that person must be listened to. And in this case, no matter how previous the allegation is, you see, it is a very elementary principle of law that in Nigeria, at least in the laws we practice in Nigeria, we know that offenses are classified. And then breach of law also differ from one type of breach of law to the other. We have instances where we have seen people who have killed innocent lives just like that without any just cause. But the law did not say that you just go and execute those people extrajudicially, even if they are caught red-handed. What the law says is that there must be a procedure that at the end of the day, the accused person or the person who is accused of perpetrating a certain criminal act is given the opportunity to defend himself, so that at the end of the day, justice will not only be done but must be seen to be done. So no matter how weighty the allegations are against the governor, whether he disobeys court orders or not, I am not holding brief for him. So I will not delve into the merit of those allegations. Whether or not, whether it is true or not true that he violates court orders, that is not enough to say that he cannot benefit from the principle of natural justice, from the principle of fair hearing. Definitely, even if you are to wake up today and bomb the whole country called Nigeria and kill the more than 2 million people that are in Nigeria, the law prescribes a procedure for you to, to be punished. So you cannot just be arrested and executed without giving you what we call fair hearing. At the end of the day, fair hearing is not meant, to exculpate a person, but at least is meant, to give the person the opportunity so that the a dispassionate third party, we also see that that person has been, yes, the person has been fairly treated, and the person has been given all necessary opportunity to defend himself. But at the end of the day, he he, he either succeeds in defending himself or he fails in doing so. So definitely speaking, the NBA has really messed, if I will use the word messed up, or messed itself up by not following the simple procedure. What stopped them? You can, if you like, you can simply write the governor and attach the allegations against him and say, Mr. Governor, these are the allegations against you, and these are their prayers that they don't want you to appear. They don't want you to speak on this platform, and for these reasons they have stated. We want to see your response. The governor may respond if he has any defense. Put it in writing to address it back to you, and then at the end of the day, you will be able to look at his response and then also look at the allegations against him, and then compare and then arrive at a just decision as to whether or not he has defended himself and as to whether or not the allegations in the petition are justified. But for you to just go ahead without hearing him and, just taking that kind of embarrassing decision to embarrass yourself, embarrass the legal profession, embarrass the rule of law that you claim to be championing, and embarrass the entire country in the eyes of the world. The decision is quite unfortunate, and I want to believe that any lawyer once installed knows that no amount of no amount of weight of allegations against a person will warrant that person to be deprived, from benefiting from the principle of natural justice. That's why it is called natural justice. And these principles, they are enshrined under what we call fundamental human rights. They are called fundamental human rights because they are rights that are available to every person, not minding his innocence or guilt, not minding his class, but by virtue of being a human being born into the human society, is entitled to those rights, and the rights are said to be inalienable. They are said to be inalienable. There is a way you can deal with this situation without embarrassing yourself, without failing yourself, without failing the rule of law. But the NBA did not do that. And that has made so many people, and you can see from the aftermath, certain branches of law of the NBA themselves pull out from the conference. What is more embarrassing than that? And apart from that, even the common man in the society came to believe that justice was not done.
Do you think that decision, O'Brien, you have some comments or you have a question?
No, I'm just glad to listen to the whole the logic and the reasons behind it. But that gets me thinking: is there no rule of time in like all of these settings? In the sense that is the law absolute, or do you apply it relative? Because if you start classifying things like offenses have their classes, then there is the idea of priority. And when there's the idea of priority, the next thing is priority queue. And once you have a line or a line of, it means there's time involved somewhere that may
Yes.
that may use that priority. So does that not mean, for example, there are offenses where you may have to either uh, uh, hasten action even if you have to sacrifice some of the human rights or some of the universality in the procedures that you have. For example, if a terrorist sets off a bomb and we see that maybe he has another one, we have to stop him fast. We have to like catch him and lock him up, and then or take drastic decisions. So I'm wondering if in situations like that, does it not mean too that in the cases like this, the time matters. And then another thing that I'm thinking is, if you have like an association and there's embarrassment, it means there's misjudgment somewhere, and you trace it back to bad governance. So do we solve such issues by breaking off, or is there no other procedure to kind of add a band-aid or to correct the whole thing? So those are the things going through my mind when I listen to this.
Yes, yes. You see, the issue of class when it comes to benefiting from the fundamental human rights,
Yeah.
there is nothing like class.
Okay.
So your class doesn't matter when it comes to the issue of fundamental rights. Those rights as constitutional rights, they are universally recognized
Okay.
and they are available to you whether you are a big man or a small man, if I may use those terminologies. And then nobody can take them away. And if anybody takes them away, then or let me just say that they can only be taken away as prescribed by the law. There
Okay.
are certain exceptions that are provided under the law that that can that you can use to derogate from those powers. Sorry,
Yeah.
from those rights.
Okay.
Yes, like in our own case here in Nigeria, fundamental rights fundamental rights are captured in what we call Chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999,
Okay.
which begins from Section 33 to Section 44.
Mhm.
Then Section 45 of the same Constitution now provide exceptions to the right provided from Section 33 to Section 44. Uh, Therefore, for anybody to derogate or to be deprived of benefits, of the fundamental rights, then definitely it must fall. He must be able to capitalize on one of the exceptions. But in
Okay.
this case, you can see that even the NBA itself did not even make an attempt to
Okay.
capitalize on any of their sections because they are untenable. In fact, their decision cannot fall under any exception as provided under the law.
Okay.
So the only exception probably they have been able to capitalize on people just like people have been reading, there could be sentiments and there could be uh, personal issues. Just like we have seen that Mr. Odin Kalu, for those who know him, know that over the years he has been having one or the other issue with the personality of level 5. So whether uh, so it can be easily seen
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
from that angle that even the decision that was hastily taken without according the governor the right to might have been seriously might have been very much influenced by the petitioners. So that is why it is very difficult for the NBA to say that the decision has any legal basis. It has no legal basis, and it is quite unfortunate for somebody who is prouding himself as the promoter of rule of law, only to be found to be caught wanting. But Mr. Sorry, not Isaac, my other friend.
Brian.
Yes,
Brian, yeah. Uh-huh.
Ibrahim.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, but Ibrahim. Yeah, I'm Ibrahim too, actually.
Okay, Brian,
Yeah. Or
Mr.
Ibrahim.
Brian.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
So,
Yeah.
go ahead, Ibrahim.
okay, you're trying to say that
Yeah.
whether whether the only option available to us because we feel the NBA
Yeah. Breaking
was
off.
caught wanting
Yeah.
could be the breakout
Yeah.
definitely or the breakup. No,
Okay.
um, when you have problems, first and foremost, you try to manage them within you, if possible.
Uh-huh.
And then, if you cannot manage them, you find other ways of, dealing with them.
Yeah.
Um, in this case, in this case, it may include, you know, trying to find an alternative.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
All
trying
right.
to find an alternative, just like we have done. We know that over the years, several efforts have been put in place in order to, see that the NBA has come back to, the right,
Yeah.
to ways of right.
Yeah.
But all these efforts have been proven abortive. We have seen several individual efforts, and we have seen even some group efforts. But unfortunately, the problem seems to be, growing from bad to worse on a daily basis. So
Okay.
to that extent, I want to believe that the issue of or the idea of
Mm-hmm.
forming the new Nigerian Bar Association is not yet towards breaking the legal profession. It's not yet towards breaking the NDA. No,
Okay.
it's only yet towards bringing people to a forum which can protect their interests, a forum which can listen to their problems, a forum which can cater for their needs, and a forum which will ultimately cater for the general needs of the society. Because just like I keep repeating, every person that has decided to read law must have a particular goal, and it must be it must be related to promoting the rule of law.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so if a lawyer will go and read law and then will allow himself to become a servant, will allow himself to become colonized, then I believe that that person hardly realizes that he studied law. That person hardly maybe appreciates what he was taught in school as to his own personal right. So for you to say that you are going to defend Mr. B, you must first and foremost be able to defend your own self.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
of
must
course.
defend your own rights. So if a lawyer
Yeah.
who cannot, insist on his constitutional rights,
Yeah.
a lawyer who cannot, challenge any threat to his own right, then definitely that person has lost his moral standing to say that he's going to stick for another or to stand for another person.
Okay.
So if
Mm.
within the NBA you cannot argue simple, clear constitutional provision and insist on that right, then virtually I want to believe that there is no difference between you and the person who did not study law.
Yeah, I
So
see.
in this regard, the new NBA is simply saying that we want to be allowed to benefit
Mm.
from our fundamental rights as provided under the Constitution, which is Section 40 of the Constitution. This constitutional provision is very straightforward. You don't need an interpreter or any soothsayer to come and tell you what it means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I see. But also in the space of through the essence of procedure, the procedure
Sorry, can
still.
you raise up your
Oh
voice?
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
hear
Is
you.
this enough? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm saying with the essence of procedure in society, and we see that it's also like a marriage of several procedures. So in your case, we were told by Barrister Haura that that the it was a democratic process. So that's another process that married the whole process of running that association. So she said democratically, and the decision emerged. So how do we reconcile that, like in dealing with, yes, in supporting your roles, defending yourself as a lawyer, and in trying to build a society that is actually just. Although I'm wondering what justice is, that is actually just. Yes, we all have our own sense of justice. Some people bomb places thinking they're trying to bring peace, like maybe from a utilitarian point of view. But I'm wondering now how we reconcile practices like democracy and then seeing that democratically and the more destructive idea prevails, that's relatively speaking, as opposed to like leaving and starting our own, of which that same event may happen in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. You see, whatever that you want to do in a civilized society, that person must have legal basis. Democracy itself is no law unto itself. It
Okay.
has some legal basis. And for anything to be seen to be democratic, I want to believe that the people that first nurtured the idea of democracy
Yeah.
definitely had at the back of their mind that it is a system of government that is strictly going to be based on the rule of law. So whether
Okay.
democracy or not democracy, if the rule of law, a major rule of law, fundamental right is breached, then we cannot see any democracy. Democracy cannot, where the rule of law stands, democracy cannot, I want to believe that democracy was not met, as a warrior to fight the rule of law.
Okay.
That is why
But you
you
know
see
when
that all.
when she
Sorry,
said it was democratical, she said there was votes, right? Votes were taken, and an overwhelming majority.
Yeah,
You
that's what I
understand?
mean.
One, she told. I mean, she said about 15 people
yes, yes,
voted.
I really have, Mr. Isaac, I have really understood
Okay, okay.
yes, but I think Mrs. Hawa cannot just tell us that democracy can override rule of law. I tell you that fundamental human rights, if you look at the proponents of the rule of law, when they were conceptualizing what they mean by rule of law, they had in mind as a major component of the rule of law fundamental rights. And fundamental rights cannot be complete without fair hearing. So if Hawa Shekara will say that, if she will say that it was a decision arrived at democratically, but that decision clearly violates the principle of fair hearing, then I will really be surprised because I think Hawa Shekarau should be far better than that. And over the years, I want to believe that she has garnered a lot of experience in this work, and we respect her for that. But for her to come and say that any democratic process can override rule of law, that would really be so.
Well, she's not here. I don't think she went as far as saying it the way you're saying it. I don't think she said that the
Yes,
democratic
so even if it was,
overrode the rule of law. She just stated clearly that it was a democratic decision. And so now that brings me to the point. Were you present when this decision was being made? And if you were present, what was your position? What did you say to that?
seriously, I am not a member of the NEC,
Okay.
so I couldn't have been present in the meeting.
Yes.
So I couldn't have participated.
Yes.
But Mr. Isaac, some people who attended the same NEC meeting said that they're not given opportunity, even when they were raising their hands to speak. At least for the to allow the governor to either be written or be invited to come and say something about the allegations. They were trying to talk, but they did not take. They are not taking.
Today,
They not recognize. So to that extent, even though I was not there, but I still make bold to say that the claim that the process was a democratic one is false.
So in all of this, Brian, this
Yeah.
is what I think. In all of
Yeah.
this,
Yes.
do you think that decision was sentimentally taken? Maybe it was politically taken against the government. Do you think it was motivated politically, or what do you think must have created that?
You see, I will tell you my own personal assessment.
Yes, good.
Personal assessment right now. because I am an indigenous of Kaduna State. I was born and brought up in this state, and I know a lot of the goings and the happenings within Kaduna State. And I will also tell you that I know very much about the situation in Southern Kaduna. I have relatives in Southern Kaduna who have been seriously affected by this crisis. I have an immediate cousin who was slaughtered like a ram some years ago. So I will tell you that wrote that petition, and from the people who argue in favor of that petition, and from the people who keep supporting the wrong decision taken on the petition by the MBA, I will tell you that personally, I feel that it is sentimental. Yes, and it has some ethnic and religious colorations. Definitely, whether or not we like it. And I will cite two examples for you to enable you probably see why I have this belief. Number one, the allegations, part of the allegations is the issue of his disobedience to court orders. But the major allegation I want to believe, which the petitioners were able to, to capture, is the issue of crisis in Southern Kaduna. And I know the campaigns, all the campaigns against the governor, on his handling of the crisis of Southern Kaduna. But somebody that came in the last 6 years, you are accusing him of, perpetrating crises that have been bedeviling a whole region in the last 40 years. In 1980s, when we had the crisis in Kasuan Magani, was Erufai the governor. And what happened then? Several lives, innocent lives were destroyed. In 1992, when we had these two Zangon Katap riots, several lives were lost. Was the Erufai the governor then? Who was Erufai in Kaduna State then? We had similar incidents when the son of Southern Kaduna was the governor, late Ibrahim Yakowa, in 2011, during the constellation crisis. We saw how innocent lives were destroyed, especially in the axis of Kagoro and Kagoro in Kaura local government and Zompua in Zangokata. More than 1,000 lives were destroyed in less than 3 days. Was Erufai the governor? And we cannot forget that even at that time, in Southern Kaduna, the people kept accusing late Patrick Yakowa of complicity in some of these things. When he went and was trying to control the situation in some places in Southern Kaduna, they were throwing him, they were stoning him. There are several allegations against him, and even Ramala Nyero, around I think in 2014, just before elections, the crisis in Sanga local government, and the people they were accusing Nyero, being a Fulani man from Zaria, of perpetrating the same crisis. But for some of us who have lived in Southern Kaduna, we know that the crisis has nothing with the governor. It has nothing with no sensible government will ever support any crisis in the state. In fact, as the governor, he has so much to do with his state resources. Why should he be using state resources to kill his own citizens? So the allegation, we know that is baseless, but because of the sentiments in it, the petitioners and their cohorts were able to sell through with the petition, and eventually the NEC did what they did, even in.
But let's get it clear here, Brian. Are you following, Brian?
Yes, I am.
Let's follow here. The petition that brought about the disinvitation of the governor, did it also had part of this, what you're talking about, the attacks in Southern Kaduna? Was it part of the petition, or you're just thinking that there are sentiments from that petition that impacted on the issue about
the petition actually captured this as one of the allegations against him? They said his complicity and handling of this crisis in Southern Kaduna. It's very clear in the petition. It was boldly written, and I want to believe that even in 2016, let me just cite one example. In 2016, the said petitioner, Mr. Odinkalo, I used to respect Odinkalo a lot, but unfortunately, since that time, I knew that Odinkalo has lost the moral temerity to speak on behalf of rule of law. We know that when he was in Human Rights Commission, he used to make strong statements against the state that are good, that are beneficial to the society. But in 2016, in 2019, when there was an attack against on a Fulani community in Kajuru local government, in a single day, about 131 Fulani people, men, women, and children were slaughtered, and their lives and the living ones displaced, some of them injured and whatnot. The governor went there, not alone. He went along with security agencies who had in their midst Muslims, non-Muslims, people of Kaduna State origin, and people of people outside Kaduna State. They went there so for themselves. But just because the governor came out and made a statement saying that unfortunately about 66 Fulani, in fact he underreported it, because at the time, as a government entourage, they only went to one place. They were not aware of the other place. He reported 66 Fulani killed. But unfortunately, we saw how Mr. Odinkadu came out on the TV, hastily and denying and attacking the personality of the governor and making a lot of insinuations. And so now, taken from that incident and from the court issue that is still, hanging on Mr. Odinkaro, that it is a personal vendetta. The whole petition, the whole contents of the petition are personal, fights. So and then he succeeded. He succeeded. He succeeded in dragging the NBA into dirty, into debt and whatnot. And now look at where he
was he the one that wrote that petition? Was he the one that wrote the petition against the governor regarding the poor handling of the issues?
Mr. Odinkalo is one of them.
Okay.
I think he is even the first signatory.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. These are information that I don't think the public really knows like that. It's good that you are bringing this to the forefront, to the foreburner. Interesting. Brian, we have been talking with Barrister Nuhu, Ibrahim for a while now. Brian, do we have comments? We have questions from followers?
No, just there are some comments, but we can go on. Yeah, just greetings. Greeting. Yeah, but anyway, from my end, I mean, I'm really interested in like justice as a whole and its application in the world. Sometimes I feel like it's justice that
Sorry,
actually.
Mr. Bryant, you know how to speak very, in a very low tone.
Oh,
just raise up your voice.
Low. Oh, am I? Is the voice okay now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, I used to forget that is mic, like how to place it. So I was saying, I'm very much interested in like the nature of justice, because when I think about it, sometimes I feel like it's justice that actually destroys the world, because like either people are often fighting because one person thinks some injustice has been done to them, or they're actually fighting to defend themselves against some injustice. So now, but the thing that injustice is really related to is justice. So which means justice is the problem. Like everywhere we go. So I don't know, as a human being, what is it that we should do in this world where like the thing that has to protect us and make the world more universal is actually the thing that is just destroying it.
Sorry, Mr. Bryant, you eventually went very low, so I actually did not get the later part of your.
Okay, so the later part, I'm saying like, I'm just wondering how one should live in a world where the thing that is supposed to really enforce universality and freedom is actually the thing that is causing almost all the troubles that we have, and you as someone sworn to protect it. Like, how do we navigate this kind of world, or how does this world appear to you?
Sorry, I didn't get you, but if I would just try to.
Isaac, you heard me?
Yeah, I heard him. What Brian is trying to say, Brian is trying to say that everywhere in the world where people are fighting, people just feel like they have been injustice meted on them,
Yeah,
and as such they are fighting back.
yeah,
Yes.
Right? So
yeah.
Brian is trying to say here that, Brian is a philosopher. He's trying to say here
Mhm.
that it seems the problem is justice. Justice is what is causing these issues in the world. Brian, am I correct?
Yes, yes, yes. Because
What then is
everywhere
your question?
injustice, what is directly related to injustice is justice. So you now we sworn to protect justice. I mean, how do you live in this world, and what should we actually do in such a world?
No, I think justice as a concept is one of those things that have been eluding, or that have not been defined as well, but rather people have theorized, people have tried to conceptualize on what justice is. There are several concepts, um, but in any case, I want to believe that justice has to do with fairness, if you want to use that word.
Okay.
Uh, Justice must be something that can be seen to be fair. So, and if you are out to, to promote or to champion justice, then definitely there are several angles that we have to look at.
Okay.
That is why at the beginning you see that especially in Nigeria we have a legal system that is very plural in nature. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it has its origin from different sources. We have the English law, we have the religious sources and whatnot, and the customary sources. Like the just just to buttress the point, I would just want to
Yeah.
cite the example common law, there's the English law,
Yeah.
common law, and the doctrine of equity.
Yeah.
Um, just like I said the other time,
Yeah.
the democracy or any other very well pronounced concept must have its basis on the rule of law. So, thing to be just, foremost, it must be able to be, placed within the context of the rule of law,
Yeah.
and and in doing so, you have to, look at different angles when you are trying to promote justice.
Okay.
Because if you don't look at the facts, from a very wide perspective, then you are likely bound to, instead of promoting justice, to be caught promoting injustice. So,
Okay.
like I said, um, the issue of sorry the concept of common law and equity in English law
Yeah.
are two concepts which some people at the beginning used to see like they are at loggerheads, but
Okay.
eventually the whole world came to accept the fact that they are complementary.
Okay.
Like the common law will always insist that the law must be applied the way it is. It must be applied the way it is. But later on, some people who were mainly clergy came to realize that some of the enforcement were giving rise to injustices.
Okay.
Because if you don't look at the facts and just look at the law, definitely you are bound to cause injustice. So some of the common laws being strictly applied by the courts then were actually resulting to hardship, they resulted to injustice. So for that reason, they felt that there was need for what they term equity
Yeah.
to come and mitigate some of the hardships of the common law.
Yeah.
So in that regard, you can see that when you want to discuss the concept of justice under English law, you must be able to juxtapose the provisions of the law
Yeah.
vis-a-vis the concepts of equity. So as a person who is out to promote justice, definitely one must always try to balance to look at things from a very balanced point of view.
Okay.
Sometimes your interest in enforcing the law should not allow you to fall, into perpetrating injustice,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Okay.
So I think it's a very tricky thing if you want to promote fight for the cause of justice,
Okay.
and then you need to be very very circumspect, very considerate, and very merciful in some cases in applying or in enforcing what you think is just.
Okay. Oh wow, mashallah. Thanks, thanks. Yeah. So thanks. We've been writing for a while. I have learned a lot, like from like law, even how a lawyer thinks. And thanks for
Yeah.
like disseminating
You have a lawyer
information.
twin?
I mean, how a lawyer thinks, because you kind of like you nail it out. I can see a picture of what you're saying, and,
That's it.
and yeah, that be logically and or pictorially, if that's a word. Yeah, so thanks, and I've been able to learn about the law too and justice, because it's a question I've always been wondering, like looking at the sufferings in the world, what can one do, and what is it that is actually causing this problem. And then even here in the United States, lots of issues arise from the even from the law. You see that the court itself actually enforces some of the injustices that we are trying to fight against. So I've always been in a confused state. But anyway, thanks. Is there anything you want to say that we didn't ask, or to those that are listening? Is there anything you have to say to them before we
Yeah,
close?
yes. Lastly, I would just want to make this point that our intention in the new NBA is to, promote the major concepts of the rule of law, the
Yeah.
concept of justice, the concept of equality, and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And we want to call on the general public to disregard any rumor, any, campaign of calumny against us. They should be able to hold us accountable from what we say and from our actions, but not on what is said. This said, what is being peddled around against us. You know that right from the beginning, when we decided to make public announcement, we are going to face these kind of things, and
Okay.
you know that there are entrenched interests that will always, do whatever they can do in order to see that our ideas die down. But please and please, uh, I think it is elementary justice that one should not say about somebody what he has not done,
Yeah.
and one should not say that somebody has not done what he has done. So if he did not say something, he did not restrict the scope of our association. We only have general belief that the main NDA, the all NDA has not been working, and we believe that the law has given us the right to have an alternative to it. We know that it is going to be very difficult. We are aware of some of the statutory recognitions of the NBA. The NBA is just like any other association that is registered under the Companies and Allied Matters Act in
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, but we recognize that certain statutes that have come to be, enacted have made reference to the Nigerian Bar Association, and we are aware, and it is it is one of the main agenda that we have in the new NDA to push for all necessary amendments of the laws that have tended to restrict, lawyers associations to the NBA to encompass any other legally recognized association of lawyers. So
Okay.
in that regard, specifically, we are going for the amendment of the Legal Practitioners Act and certain acts that tend to, recognize only the NBA as being the Association of Lawyers. We know that it's going to be tough, but by God's grace, we have put things in place, and we are very hopeful that at the end of the day, we will come out for the benefit of the entire
Mashallah.
country.
Mashallah. Thanks, Brother Ibrahim, for that. For your time, and to those that participated today, thanks. There's a lot to learn from it, and Hope this is like the first episode out of
Yes, sir.
countless number of episodes. Please feel free to, if you have anything to tell us, we'd love to learn about the law. Even if it's something you see by the road that you need an audience to talk to, we're here. Thank you very much, and
Thank
have
you
a
very
good one.
much, Mr.
Yeah.
Brian.
Thank you very much. Thank you
My
very much,
friend,
Mr.
I
Nuhu.
really appreciate.
Yes, your coming here has really opened up the issues, and a lot of Nigerians now have inside information as to what happened and what you people, the decisions that you people have taken. Thank you very much for coming to give this explanation. I'm sure you are well understood better now. And just like what my colleague Brian has said to you, this space is open for you at any point in time. You have anything you want to share with the world, you can come in here and share and make yourself, be heard. Thank you very much for your time.
Very much, Mr.
Right.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Brian.
have a good one. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, Anjuma.